Sharing with you in this video how to stop believing in negative emotions and feelings when creating your new identity. And the reason why I think that this is a very powerful concept is because what it's showing you is that there doesn't need to be an investment of all this energy in your life into the things that are not going to be conducive to you acting into the person that you want to be. And so the first thing that I want to share with you in this video in terms of how to really grasp this concept deeper is to understand that you do not need to take action based on a negative emotion. So you can basically act against it. Act against the negative emotion. Prove the negative emotion wrong. Prove the emotion wrong. Take an action that basically says to the emotion, this feeling is untrue. Why? Simply because you decide that you can be something different. You can see the emotion, but then commit and have willingness towards a different vision, regardless of the feeling. And so this really begins with seeing that, again, you don't need to take action based on negative emotion because you are not that negative emotion. See, if you become the negative emotion, if the negative emotion becomes a part of your identity, if the past belief becomes a part of who you are, now you're in for a very big problem. But if you don't allow the negative emotion to become a part of your identity, to become who you are, you don't attach to it, you don't say, oh, this is me. It's just an emotion and a feeling that passes by. Now all the thoughts that are associated with that negative emotion and feeling also don't become who you are. So you can choose to be something else and then again, act against it. And so the second thing that I want to share with you in this video to pair with the first idea is to understand that a really powerful concept is to hold, quote unquote, hold the intention of what you want in your quote unquote mind's eye. So you're holding that intention in your mind's eye. You're holding it in your mind. Whatever the intention is, whatever it is that you want to create, you want to hold it in your mind. And if you're able to hold this intention in your mind as you're going through your life, then what happens is that all the negative emotions are just seen as obstacles, like just little challenges. It stops becoming such a big problem that you need to grasp onto, they need to cling onto. What happens is that I believe that when we have a lack of purpose, when we have a lack of intention, when we have a lack of vision, when we have a lack of clear direction in our life, what happens is that it's very difficult for us to let go of negative emotions because there's not really much else to do, right? You just cling on to all the negative, and like if you don't have a clear intention, you believe you have all the time in the world to just be miserable and be a victim, right? But if we have clear intention, if we have a sense of urgency as well, possibly on top of that intention, because the alternative to you is simply unacceptable perhaps, now you have even more of an advantage because you have more of a reason to not believe in negative emotions because you don't want to experience them anymore. A person that's tired of being tired will just choose an alternative to not feel tired anymore. And usually what that involves is having a clear vision. And then when you have a clear vision, it's easier to act against those negative emotions because you kind of just know what you have to do. I notice in my experience when you know what your vision is. If you know where you want to go, you might not know how exactly you're going to get there, but moment to moment, you'll know what that first step is. And then in the next moment, you'll know what the next step is, and then so on. But the most important thing is don't forget about the vision in your mind's eye. Hold that vision relentlessly and fearlessly and be bold with that vision. Be, again, fearless and don't be afraid to, again, sometimes be a little bit more bold than you perhaps would be. And so the final thing that I want to share with you in this video, which I believe is really powerful, that is going to connect with the first two concepts, is to understand that energy cannot be created, nor can it be destroyed. And so rather than making it a philosophical conversation here, how is this practical? Well, the truth is that what we've talked about in this video is essentially what you could be calling emotional alchemy. Emotional alchemy What that really means is that you're taking pain. Although it might sound like a funny concept, it's a very powerful and serious concept, because if you're going to be able to take pain, resistance, negativity, challenges, obstacles, and just reinterpret that as just another form of energy that you can use to simply take action towards your vision instead, now you're going to have an edge that many people do not have. Many people very easily and very effortlessly cling on to negative emotions as who they are. And so they recreate the same negative emotions in the same patterns and the same problems in their life. And wherever they go, their problems follow them because they're attached to negative emotions. And it doesn't matter where you're located in the world, if you keep attaching to that negative emotion, believing that that is you, rather than just seeing that it is an emotion in your space, popping up in your space of consciousness, in your space of awareness, then you're going to be attached. But if you realize that that's not the case, you can have emotional alchemy. Take that negative emotion and then turn it as simply a reason to take action towards the vision once again. And so what this means is, another way to say it is, it's really energy transmutation. That's all it is. And you're doing this consciously. I think every single moment is you turning one form of energy into another form of energy. Everything is always changing. Nothing is ever the same. Haven't you ever noticed that everything is not still? That you can find the stillness within yourself that is unchanging, the formless part of who you are, of course, but the form is always changing. And so what happens is that I believe, based on my experience, that, and what I've seen to be true, that people are always recreating themselves into perhaps the same version of themselves every single day. They're recreating themselves to be the same, but they're still changing because they don't realize that they're attaching to their negative emotions. But if in another scenario, somebody realizes that they're attaching to their negative emotions, now they're going to be able to change faster and not keep creating more of the same. They're actually going to be the natural transformative beings that they are. So basically what I'm saying is that we are naturally transformative beings. We are naturally always changing and growing and transforming and evolving, and our deeper and more powerful, higher visions coming through. People want to create more. They want to be better. They want to improve. There's only better versions of yourself that are going to come forth every single day as time goes on. You're going to naturally be better and transform more over time. But what happens, this natural, amazing, powerful, transformative sort of flow of life, is when we believe in a negative emotion that we never even resonated with and we didn't see as just something that's out of alignment with the next vision that you were creating. And then somewhere along the path, you forgot about your vision, and you forgot that a negative emotion is just information telling you what's not aligned with your vision. That's all it is. That's just really what I believe life is truly about, is creating what we want. And that is really the best thing that you can do to honor yourself and the people around you. Because I want to make one thing clear before I conclude this video. This is not about conquering anything outside you. This is about conquering your internal emotions, your thoughts about how you see the world, and your internal world. This has nothing to do with the external. So if you can master your own emotions, your own internal dialogue to the best of your ability. It's not that you can control every single thought, because we have 60 to 80,000 thoughts per day or something crazy like that. But what we can do is begin to take negativity as an opportunity to be better, as an opportunity to improve, as an opportunity to transform. And I think that's our natural